the modern progressive climate movement completely lost me. They lost me. I explained this a long time ago. You guys know the first time I actually organized was with Sunrise Movement because there's not a lot of progressive organizations out here. And I heard that Casey Sunrise was killing it, so I went to one of their events one day. So one of the first events I went to. And I think there's real value in caring for Mother Earth and our environment. One of the few sacred duties that we have. And I'm not even religious, fam. That's why it's even more confusing when religious people don't have this opinion, because apparently Earth is God's creation. And this is why Republicans and conservatives used to be conservatives. Conservatives supposed to be conserving the earth. Like the old school Republicans and right-wing fundamentalists was hardcore environmentalists because God told us to protect the earth. Once again, I'm not even religious, but if you're religious, you got the opposite approach. It's completely ridiculous to me, right? But I still have even though I'm not religious, I deeply care about like our role in this shit. You know, our role in the universe. Like, how can we better ourselves as a species? Like, these things I care about, even without religion, may confuse religious people. I believe that we are here to guard and protect the earth. Like, that's something that we should take pride on. It's our home. It's where we evolved in. And anything that we can possibly do to do that is something worth pursuing. But the modern climate justice movement lost me completely, because the modern climate justice movement is nothing but PMC class war, where they want ordinary working class people to make all the sacrifices as they make none. It's nothing but virtue signaling, weak bullshit that benefit green capitalism. It's absolute garbage. And no one, not the Republicans, not capitalists, no one did more damage to the modern climate change movement than these activist frauds. These people who pretend they actually give a fuck about stuff, and then they vote for the people who cause the climate crisis. So look at this cringe. This is the Sunrise Movement. I want you to remember.
Nick, when we were gonna do this segment, I had no idea you was gonna slay everybody. These clowns. I thought you was about to just slay freaking AOC. Because I saw this and I had the same reaction. I was like, how dare the Sunrise Movement? You guys should be barred from attending that event. That's what I was thinking. But go ahead, sir. We're thinking along the same lines.
I see this, and I told you guys, I led with that. Even I already see some right-wingers in the comments. Like, who cares about the environment? I do. No one would change my mind on that. To me, it's absurd not to, right? But that's why I'm furious at these frauds, because the Sunrise Movement told people to vote for Joe Biden, and they're going to do it again. Who is the Nord Stream pipeline bomber? And the Nord Stream pipeline bomb was the largest emitting of carbon emissions in modern human history, probably of all time, CJ. I'm going to show you guys that receipt here soon. But this is their performative bullshit that does nothing but turn the working class away from a very serious issue. The same way that identity politics, virtue signaling liberals pissed me off, and I called them out on their race bullshit because it actually hurts me, who actually care about improving racial relations. So we got to call out the frauds who abuse and weaponize race that serve, even though they serve the establishment. That's the same thing that these frauds do. Listen to this fucking cringe and tell me whether you want to immediately join their movement or does this repel you? In the comments, let me know.
I can't. Oh, Jesus.
We gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. 2.0, baby. We gonna be all right. This is We Gonna Be All Right 2.0. Right here. Like,
Nick, this is why the left, you can let it play. This is why the left, why is the left weak? Because this is it right here. This.
We gonna be all right.
Because these same people are gonna go vote for Joe Biden because of Trump.
Yes. That's exactly the point, fam. And look at the sign here. The sign is the most hilarious part. You guys see the sign? Let me pause it. I didn't vote for this climate disaster. I didn't vote for fossil fuels. Ma'am, yes, you did.
If you can't disconnect your vote for Joe Biden for this disaster that he's bringing upon us, you cannot disconnect your vote like you're trying to do. And like that lady is saying we can do in our previous segment, like Emma Vigland also said, disconnecting our vote from no. This falls right on your lap, ma'am.
Right upon you. I didn't vote for the climate disaster. I didn't vote for fossil fuels. It's almost like they're trying to convince themselves. Yeah. Fam. I would love to have a psychologist examine this. Like, if you don't have massive guilt for voting for the Nord Stream pipeline bomb, or the person who expanded fracking, the person who approved the Willow projects, there's something wrong with you. Let's listen. This short clip. Let's listen to it one more time. It's absolutely like this is why
this is hard to watch or listen to. More listen to.
This is how you build a movement, baby. I believe. Remember the term toxic positivity, fam?
Yes.
You have Biden improving the Willow project. You had the Nord Stream pipeline going off. You have the extreme weather events, and these privileged fucking kids. I believe that we will win. The fuck is this, fam? You guys wonder why you're repellent of the working class? This shit.
I had no idea that this segment was gonna be like this. I had no idea this segment was gonna be like this.
Nigga, there are black people in Flint with poison water, man. They got kids who are deformed, and you talking about we're gonna win. We're gonna talk about we're gonna win. Nigga, we are poison right now. And these deeply unserious clowns are holding a prep rally. That's essentially a glorified DNC event.
Now, do people understand what we're saying?
Go ahead.
Because let me say this. Do people understand what we're saying? Why we are making fun of this? Is because we wholeheartedly believe in protest. But is this real protest? Is this people went out and got permits so that they can do this? Got permission from you get what I'm saying? Like, the point that I'm making is this real protest to make change? Or is this for pictures and to make you feel good about yourself, how you're not going far enough to get the actual change you need? Go ahead.
To answer your question, and I was going to hint to this later, and this is my boy Nico House said, I give him credit for this. A protest isn't real when you don't see cops busting shit up. You have the establishment writing amazing pieces about them. Here's one of them. Thousands march to demand the end of fossil fuels ahead. Many of these stories, all these stories writing glory pieces on them. Democrats attending. You got Democrats like, yeah, I'm at the climate protest.
Yeah.
If they are that comfortable with you, you are not fucking a threat. You're not fucking threat. You got a prep rally, no tear gas anywhere. And this is a Democrat DNC approved event. They have fucking Democrats at the event.
When I saw that, Nick, because I saw a bunch of other videos, like more specifically, I saw Cornell West video. I was like, okay, this event looked like it was cracking. I didn't see the Sunrise videos yet. Then I see AOC. I'm like, what kind of? Because I could have covered this yesterday. I was like, what kind of shit is this? I'm like, I'm not covering this with AOC there. And then I see all the backlash she's getting. Go ahead, Nick.
There's no reason for Dr. Cornel West not to be there. He's part of the Green Party. Yeah. We actually care about the environment. He calling out the military-industrial complex. And there were members of the Green Party that was there calling out the military-industrial complex. I've seen a few pictures of them having signs calling out the military-industrial complex. So you had one side that had Green Party people. Then you had the DNC-approved people. The DNC-approved wing, where there was no mention of the Nord Stream pipeline bombing at all by none of them. No mention of any of that. You have a Democrat, someone who's complicit with the climate crisis, AOC, with her votes, that has given a speech. Now, I want to take you guys to memory lane here. Through memory lane. Do you guys remember the anti-war rally? The Rage Against the War Machine rally? And there was a bunch of progressives that was saying, why do you guys have an anti-war rally where you guys have people who are pro-war there? Even though they calling for disbanding NATO and for peace in Ukraine, but they classified them as pro-war, right? So I posed a question, and I want you guys to ask this question. Why are the same people who made a career, literally all they talk about, the only thing they was focused on was attacking the Rage Against the Machine war rally. That's all they spend their time on, right? Because they had bad speakers at the event. The speakers I disagree with, so we got to smear this event 24/7. Not only are they not criticizing this climate rally, they are propping it up uncritically. So my question is, and I'm glad you put it in the title, why is AOC speaking at this event? Why do you have Democrats at this event who supporting the Ukraine war? So you guys took something that's supposed to be a serious issue and turned it into a Democratic Party campaign event. This is absolutely disgusting. Now listen to this nonsense, because listen to the crowd reaction. Imagine if AOC went to an RBN event, went to a real working class activist protest. Nigga, she'll get tomatoes thrown at her on the stage. She'll get booed off. Heckled. Wait, why do you vote for the Ukraine war? Listen to these fucking sycophants treat AOC like she's a rock star celebrity.
That we organize out
Let
of
me turn it up first. And let me look.
hope. We organize out of commitment. We organize out of love. We organize out of the beauty of our future. And we will not give up. We will not let go. We will not allow cynicism to prevail. We will not allow our vision of a collaborative economy, of dignity for working people, of honoring the black, brown, indigenous, white working class. We will not give up. That we organize out of hope.
So you see, CJ, how they turned this shit into a DNC campaign rally? And isn't it interesting they always have these rallies demanding action on climate change around the time of election, CJ? Y'all think that's a coincidence? So you have AOC, the person who endorsed the Nord Stream pipeline bomber and voted for the Ukraine war, which have negative consequences for the environment, giving a speech at the climate change event. Where are the people who criticized the anti-war rally for doing the same thing? And listen to the crowd. I'll play the beginning again. Listen to these shameless Gen Z Sunrise Movement Democratic Party sycophants, people who treat politicians like they rock stars. This is embarrassing. Listen, I want you guys to focus more on the crowd this time. Listen.
That we organize out of hope. We organize out of commitment. We organize out of love. We organize out of the beauty of our future. And we will not give up. We will not let go. We will not allow cynicism to prevail. We will not allow our vision of a collaborative economy, of dignity for working people, of honoring the black, brown, indigenous, white working class. We will not.
This shit that is cringe to all of us. I literally see the comments. You guys are being tortured right now. So this shit that is cringe to us, the crowd, the Sunrise Movement, the Gen Z climate frauds are losing their mind. Oh my God, it's AOC. Oh my God. Nigga, they acting like they had a fucking Beyonce concert right now. What the fuck is this? We got to organize for hope. We got to organize for freedom. We got to organize with the Nord Stream pipeline bomber. We got to organize with Zelensky. The fact that she was even allowed to speak shows that these people are not serious about what they mean. The fact that they don't care about the Ukraine war shows that the climate activists are unserious. AOC supporters are unserious. If you are not like me, who spend most of his time talking about foreign policy, focused on the Ukraine war, the escalating war with the Chinese, because we care about the climate, you are unserious. And you're doing the bidding of the establishment. This is why AOC should have been banned for speaking at any climate event, any climate organization that is legitimizing AOC and giving her time to give a campaign speech should be chastised by the working class. Ruthlessly disconnected. There gotta be massive consequences for what these sellouts done. This is what AOC voted for, guys. I'm gonna explain to you guys this. The U.S. pledged billions to fight climate change. Then came the Ukraine war. The United States, and this is because of the Paris Climate Accords here, which I'm one of the only people on the left that did a breakdown on how the climate accords was bullshit. Literally at the beginning of my time as a political commentator, one of the first things I highlighted. One of the most important aspects of the Paris Climate Accord was that the most rich, populous countries, the people with the most wealth, they finance poor and impoverished countries in order to accomplish the green agenda, right? The Paris Climate Accords was trash because that funding mechanism was literally never set up. So when people say, well, we got to vote for Joe Biden because of the Paris Accords, what? The Paris Accords was trash that was never followed. The funding mechanism was never set up, and only one of the 5 biggest countries in the Paris Accords was compliant in the first place. Now listen to this. The United States owes billions of dollars in climate funding to developing countries because of the Paris Climate Accord. But the war in Ukraine is delaying payments and slowing down U.S. progress to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And that has leaders of low-lying, less wealthy nations feeling frustrated and forgotten. So you climate frauds, you sunrise movement sellouts, you guys have invited someone to speak at your climate movement who literally voted against what you're fighting for. That is directly what her Ukraine war vote accomplished. She directly endorsed the Nord Stream pipeline bomber. I'm gonna show you guys this tweet that lived rent-free in my head ever since I've seen it. And until AOC addresses this question, she shouldn't be invited to any left climate event where she got dismantled by Marjorie Taylor Greene of all people. AOC, what is the carbon footprint of the proxy war with Russia you voted to fund? Crickets. CJ, AOC loves her some Republican beef. She loves having these Twitter exchanges with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, and all these people. But then Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted shit out, nigga. She was like, oh, nigga, I ain't see. Nigga, let's log off for the day, nigga. I'm done. I'm done, nigga. So Marjorie Taylor Greene challenged AOC to a debate. Do you guys remember this? Marjorie Taylor Greene challenged AOC to a debate on climate, and AOC declined. What? And remember, we roasted her about this a long time ago. You declined a chance to have a debate that will be viewed by millions, where you can expose climate denialism and help spread awareness of your agenda. You declined the opportunity. I will take anyone from RBN, anyone from our community against Marjorie Taylor Greene in a debate, and we will dismantle her. But AOC runs because she knows she's a fraud, and she knows that Marjorie Taylor Greene would dismantle her because she'll point out her hypocrisies like this. These hypocrisies harm the climate justice movement and environmentalism, as I explained at the beginning of the segment, I care about. Right, CJ?
This is how you get those people that was in our comments earlier, the conservative that was talking about, because he's basing what he sees climate activists do, like AOC, Nick. That's what he's seeing, or the person, I don't know if it was a he. The person was seeing, you see AOC, what do you mean climate activists and you're supporting war? What? This climate activist shit is a scam. That's what happens. Go ahead.
Yeah, and people will say, oh, you care about environment. What you put, that's green imperialism, that's green capitalism. Because people like AOC and the fake Democratic operatives turn environmentalism to a joke. I have people on the right, I have people who are libertarian leaning, I have people that are not as radical as me who listen to me and hear me talk about the environment because I talk about the military industrial complex. I talk about how the top 1% is responsible for 70% of the carbon emissions. So how are you talking about environmentalism if you're not talking about eating the rich, if you're not talking about class war? Class war is the only thing that you should care about when it comes to the environment. But meanwhile, the modern progressive movement is like, you got to stop eating meat. You got to stop using straws. You guys got to stop driving cars. You got to see how they force the working class to make sacrifices as AOC voting for war. AOC voting for war. They supporting Democrats who are spreading public drilling and fracking. But they want you to make sacrifices. AOC can't make sacrifices for a relational harm. But we got to make sacrifices and stop eating meat, fam. Because
let me show you. Let me insert 2 receipts here because it's important. Because Nick, what do we say? What literally this? You can't make this up. You have the fossil fuel industry. It's this whole thing in fossil fuels. What's fossil fuels? Gasoline in some forms. So let's bring up this receipt right here. Now, this is the part where we always talk about. There's no way you can be a climate activist and also support the Ukraine war and wars like it. That's simply something you can't do. And let me show you this receipt to prove the point that I'm making. Here is Forbes, the world's biggest fuel consumers. Guess what's on here? Abrams tanks. You know, the tanks that we're sending to, you know, the tanks that we're sending over there. Now, let me read just a snippet here. Army vehicles get better mileage, but Beto Bailey isn't exactly riding around in a Prius. An armored division, listen to this, an armored division of the Army, can use as much as, listen to this, Nick, 600,000 of gasoline a day, sir.
Wow.
A day.
What?
A day. Did you hear me? And look at this next sentence. A tank like the M1 Abrams, that's the exact one the United States is sending, and they've got other countries to send. Guess at their mileage, Nick, 0.6 miles per gallon. 0.6 miles per gallon. So you cannot disconnect war, militarism. You cannot disconnect that from the fight for climate. So how are we boasting about AOC being at an event to speak, and she was on fire? I saw one of them said, AOC is on fire. You mean she's setting the planet on fire?
I saw that.
What fire? What fire are you talking about? And I got one more receipt here to go a little more in. Yeah, go a little more in depth, and then I'll pass it to you after this. Go a little more in depth. We covered this. You and I covered this article when it happened, when they sent tanks. And I just remember, I was like, wow, I remember that article. Let me see if I can find it, because they gave a more specific number of what it takes. And here we go. Modern tanks need vast logistic networks to arm and support them. A single M1 Abrams tank consumes, look at this, 60 gallons of fuel per hour, Nick. Per hour, sir. Per hour. But I'm at the climate event talking about I'm against climate. Let's fix this. While I vote for vehicles that take 60 gallons of gasoline, fossil fuels, in other words, per hour. Just unserious. It's unserious to me.
And they have no criticism of the Ukraine war at all. And people wonder why I have such venom towards Bernie Sanders. Like I even shocked Dr. Cornell West and Marianne Wilson when they hear my criticism of Bernie. And many like allies and friends of the network hear my criticism, like who's still like Bernie adjacent. They're like, come on, man, why are you so mean? Because they're selling a fraud and dooming our climate by voting for the Ukraine war. You guys claim you care about it? Do you have something else before I share mine? You have something else, CJ?
No, go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
The fact anyone who endorses Joe Biden should be banned from attending climate event. And that is not dramatic at all. That is considered unbelievably uncivil, unfair among the professional managerial class, CJ. But we are done playing with the professional managerial class rules, aren't we?
Yep.
If you endorse Joe Biden, you are not allowed to attend climate events. And any climate event that invites you, let alone having you speak, we should consider fraudulent and enemies of the working class. The Nord Stream pipeline leaks are catastrophic for the climate. And I want you guys to understand the perspective here that we're dealing with when we talk about Joe Biden being the largest eco-terrorist, the biggest eco-terrorist in human history. Noam Chomsky said that we need to vote for Joe Biden over Trump because the environment, fam. Because Noam Chomsky said, and I actually kind of agree with them in a sense, the people responsible for the climate crisis, he had this long expose. He talked about this a long time ago, how they were the most evil. They did the most damage to humanity. So we have to vote against Republicans because these people are going to be responsible for more dead than any empire ever. Joe Biden is the largest eco-terrorist because I want to show you guys this. I want Noam Chomsky to really digest this and people will agree with his perspective. And yes, I'm salty because Noam Chomsky is that guy who gives liberals a talking point against me every 4 years. Like, oh, you think you know so much more than Noam Chomsky? Noam Chomsky said, well, you think you know better? Huh? Yeah, I do on this issue.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, on this issue, I do. So let's put the Nord Stream gas leak in perspective. So in the Nord Stream leak, you had 190 kilotons of methane. Where the fuck that measurement is? Kilotons? It's been a long time since I've been in school. But that's kilo. Whenever I see kilo, I'm like, holy shit, that's a lot. 190 kilotons of methane. Now, in comparison, the second highest leak ever, CJ, had 97 kilotons of methane. So the Nord Stream pipeline is almost 2 times worse in terms of methane leaks than the second worst leak ever, according to this article. And now I want you guys to understand something, because what do they talk about, CJ? They talk about greenhouse gases and carbon dioxide, right? Methane, which accounts for more than 90% of the gas in the Nord Stream pipeline, 90% of the gas in the Nord Stream pipeline was methane, which is a potent greenhouse gas that has more than 80 times more climate impact than carbon dioxide. You guys see, I'm not a scientist. I'm trying, right? But 80, based on what I'm reading here, 80 times more potent to the climate crisis that methane compared to carbon dioxide, and that is the Nord Stream pipeline. This is what Joe Biden is responsible for. People like scientists are still wrapping their minds around, CJ, the environmental impact of the Nord Stream bombing. We don't know yet. I read opinions. They're like, man, we don't know how we're even going to clean this shit up. We don't know what the long-term effects of this unheard of environmental event. But AOC endorsing Biden and climate events inviting Biden supporters to their event. So once again, I read these numbers and they blow my mind, and we still don't know what the long-term effects is going to be. But this is why I have zero tolerance for the modern climate movement, because they are a movement that essentially hold DNC campaign rallies, as you've seen above, and we showed you guys before. If you're not anti-imperialist, if you're not calling for the prosecution of the Nord Stream pipeline bomber, let alone endorsing him, let alone voting for him like Crystal and Cal, I view, remember CJ, what we said in the beginning, in my last part, right? I'm going to treat Biden voters the same way they would treat us if we came out for Trump. Like, can you guys imagine if we came out with a video like, this is why black people need to support Trump? Nigga, everyone in the professional managerial class will have a video talking about how we told you guys RBN was secret Trumpers. Everyone. Nigga, Sam Cedar, they would call Voss and Simon, like, yeah, I told you RBN secret Trump supporters. So in that hypothetical universe, we should get roasted, CJ. Like, if we did something like that, we should get roasted. So I'm treating Biden supporters the same way they would treat us if we supported Trump, because Biden is the biggest eco-terrorist of all time, the most anti-black politician in the modern era, and a threat to peace and human rights. And so we should speak to his supporters the same way we speak to Republicans, right? The same way I would speak to a George W. Bush Jr. voter is how I'm treating Biden voters from now on.
So Cornell West was there. Of course, there was actually a lot of people there who we follow that was posting pictures and stuff that they were taking with Cornell West. Well, let's just show a couple of videos. It's very short, but what I've heard, I haven't been able to find a full version of his speech yet. So I'll show a couple of clips just to show what he was there and what he was saying. This first one is a minute long.
Also, it's the hands praying for each other, brother. Praying for each other. Yeah, we getting ready to continue to march. And we marching for what? In solidarity with the planet and with poor and working people who are being devastated by the organized greed of the fossil fuel industry. And we have many folk here who are marching in the name of God. We got other folk marching in the name of justice. But we're all together in solidarity.
Dr. West,
How you doing, my brother?
Cornel West is a person sort of like Case, where he can move in so many different spaces. He can move in radical spaces. He can move in professional managerial class spaces. But this is the reason why, you know what I mean? Him showing up to this event is good from him, his perspective, what he's doing. But the PMCs, they love, they love him. He's a person that PMC can love, and more radicals like us can also like some of the things that he says. But if you look at the crowd, I'm just saying, like, I mean, this is one shot. Doesn't look like too many poor people are there. I'm just saying, doesn't look like there's a lot of poor people there.
The only thing I would say, at the risk of pushback, is the reason why I say I don't think it's a bad thing for Cornel West to be here, because I hated the message of the protest. So we need someone who can frame these issues correctly, someone who can call out militarism, someone who can call out Democrats. So I have no problems with us hijacking actions. Like, there's a big event. You gotta know, like 50,000 people attended these things. Yeah. So that's why I think it's good. I see people already like, man, Dr. Cornel West shouldn't go to a DNC. No, you show up and you correct the record on this event, right? And even if you look at the audience, it don't look like Dr. Cornel West general audience. But what is our job as a third-party movement, right?
Yeah.
Our job is to bring those people over.
Expand.
So if we want Dr. Cornel West to talk to Trumpers, because I want Dr. Cornel West to go to Trump country. Doesn't that apply to Dr. Cornel West going to liberal country as well? So I actually don't have criticism on Dr. Cornel West on it. That's just me. CJ, I'll let you can have your opinion.
No. And hopefully nobody took, because I didn't think I said anything about Cornel West. So I didn't know think this is a good thing. Yeah. So I don't have any. This applies to a lot of things. People who shows up to these events with the right policy and the right stance, I have no issue. It's people who show up to these events to rah that I'm fighting while you're doing something opposite to the cause that you're talking about. So that's the critique, because we're going to have people that's going to take this out of context. Sure. Vanguard in particular are probably going to take this. Look at it. RBN is against. No, we're not. We're not. We're just simply saying this is a group of unserious people, not necessarily a rank and file, but some of the people that are putting on some of this.
I think I made my argument clear.
Yes, it's just very PMC. These people are dead. Sunrise Movement are going to then tell people to vote for Joe Biden, who's the biggest eco-terrorist. So it's a problem. But the good side of this, to the point that I was making, is Dr. West being there, is him being able to speak, is him. This is almost like a campaign event. If they didn't make this a campaign event, that would be bad for his campaign, because he should be reaching out, should be talking to people, should be bringing over people, because these are DNC people. If you can bring some radical DNC people over to your side, by all means. But in no way should we be pandering in our policy and in the way we speak about things to them. But go ahead.
Yeah, and Dr. Cornel West is not me, right? But I wish he called out AOC there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what he said, so I can't criticize him, because I won't play that clip because I don't know if I saw that.
Oh, did I play it? I didn't even play it. My bad. I didn't even play it.
Yeah, we played the clip. I don't know what he said, so once again, I want my criticism to be very fair and very legit. So if I see his messaging was off there, I will criticize that, but I don't know what he said. But I would love to see Dr. Cornel West being like, "Why is AOC here? She voted for the Ukraine war. Do you guys know how bad the Ukraine war is for the environment?" That's what we should be doing at these events, right? So I've seen people, and the reason I say this because I've seen people on Twitter criticize Dr. Cornel West for being there. That I don't think that's the right criticism. We need to be there. Like, we need to be there to pull as many people on our side as possible. The same way I want him to be at Trump country. If Dr. Cornel West showed to like a right-wing protest and he start preaching the truth, will I be mad at him? No. So I wouldn't be mad at him for doing this. That's just my personal opinion. But go ahead, CJ. Let's play the clip because I actually haven't seen this. So I'll be interested to see what he said.
Let's listen. It's only 25 seconds. Let's listen.
This is the blues all the way down. But we all are blues men and blues women because the response of catastrophe is to never allow it to have the last word. We have solidarity in the face of catastrophe. Let us march together. Let us fight together. Let us laugh together. Let us dance together.
I just wish with the amount of people there, I just wish there was one speaker that stood up and so these thousands of people can hear somebody say the Ukraine war is counter to this climate action we're doing here, guys. So if you're for climate, you can't be for Ukraine war. Just that notion has to be put out there with a crowd like this.
Now, this is only a 20-second clip, so we don't know what he said. But I'm just saying what we need Dr. Cornel West to say. This is not necessarily a criticism, because I don't know what he said. But we need the Green Party activist, the Green Party candidate, to lead with the military-industrial complex shit. Lead with the criticisms of the Democrats because you're running against the Democrats, right? So you call out the fact that the Democrat Party is complicit with this crisis and that we shouldn't vote for the Democrats. You need to do anything possible to pull those people away from the two-party duopoly, and that's what you should use your platform to do there. And I personally Dr. Cornel West is not that confrontational, but if I was a candidate, I would call her AOC. Why not? She's not endorsing you. They're not supporting you. She already called. She already said that you were risk getting us Trump. You go there. You give a speech. Say, why is AOC speaking? You guys know AOC is complicit with this. And then guess what will happen, CJ, if you said that? Woo, we got a story.
Yes.
And remember, the corporate media, CJ, they want drama. They want drama more than anything. So they're going to see this clip of Dr. Cornel West calling out AOC, and guess what? They're going to cover it. There are going to be panels over it. TYT's going to melt down. David Doe's going to melt down about it. And that's the coverage you need as a third-party candidate. Even through controversy. You want Democrats making videos complaining about you. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that Dr. Cornel West didn't do this because I don't know what he said, but in that clip, it seemed like he just had more of the same rah, rah, rah unity message. But I wanted to see him take it to the Democrat Party because not only are you telling the truth when you do that, it's actually a strategically styled move. The headline, Dr. Cornel West directly calls out AOC. Imagine how many people would clip that video and be like, oh my, holy shit, Dr. Cornel West calls AOC out at the event. You probably had AOC sycophants boo. AOC sycophants like, oh my God, Dr. Cornel West called out Queen AOC. Nigga, we are generating buzz, fam. You guys see how that's a no-lose situation? So I haven't seen the clip. I haven't heard anyone say it, but I really wish he did that because it will help this campaign.